Hi, I'm Dr. Bonnie Rabin, Educational and College Admissions Counselor and founder of College Career Consulting. I meet many students as early as 7th grade and some as late as October of the senior year, all seemingly with the same objective, to get into college. What I'd like to emphasize is your goal isn't simply getting into college. Your goal is about being successful in college. And the natural question is, when should I begin college planning? It's never too early nor too late to begin college planning. College planning really is educational planning, and a strategic educational plan is one that allows your student to achieve 3 objectives. Your student isn't marching in a race to the finish line. Your student should take each moment of high school to learn about themselves academically and personally. When I meet a student, I ask them to think about the things that make them sparkle academically. What are their favorite classes? What are the classes they think seemingly they don't like? And then what I usually learn from a student is that the classes they think they don't like have nothing to do with the content of a class, but simply a bad connection between the student and a teacher. And so I look at the student and I say, who's responsible for your learning, your student or you? And we all realize it's the student. So as a former university professor and someone who currently reviews admissions files for Cornell as an alumni interviewer, I try to naturally get each student to think about what brings them joy both in and out of the classroom. And that's why you can never start that process too early. If you're an 8th or a 9th grade student with a love of your math and science classes, one of the things that an educational counselor can do is work with you very early to introduce you to some fields of study that you might not be exposed to as a typical high school student through readings or explorings of websites or interesting pieces of literature to read, to start to understand what are the problems that professionals are exploring, whether it be biology or business or the arts. So the earlier you begin, the more likely you can shape the courses you're taking, both at school or perhaps through enriching activities in extracurricular experiences that are academic, or potentially through an internship. I also ask students to think about where do they find the time to de-stress. And de-stressing is so important because I meet many students who are in 10th and 11th grade and they're completely overwhelmed with 5 or 6 hours of homework, and they haven't had time to bring balance into their life. Balance can be obtained through a proper mix of coursework that isn't overwhelming. There is no need to take 7 AP classes, but also bringing into perspective activities that connect you to individuals in your community through volunteering, or sports for connection to working as part of a team, or activities that will allow you to explore your potential major. An interesting experience I'd like to share of an extracurricular activity that allowed students to not only understand more about their academic intended field of study, but also work with others, was a family that together planned meals, shopped and cooked and served in a local food kitchen. And what I liked about this experience is not only did it bring the family together, the children had an opportunity to speak a foreign language to many of the people that were at the soup kitchen. One of the students was actively interested in food science and was interested in planning meals, and another student in the family was potentially interested in business. So he was having an opportunity to look at budgeting in terms of the shopping for the food and the planning of meals. And the entire experience was meaningful and joyful, but it made a connection for the students in a way that connected them to their community and allowed them to further explore their academics. So when you're asking me when should you start planning, building a strategic academic plan early as 8th or 9th grade will allow each student to have time throughout high school to see the connections between their classes, their extracurricular experiences, and their work with others in a way that allows admissions officers to also see the individual, not just the student on paper on a transcript and application. If you have any questions about how to begin planning, please reach out. Thank you.